I'm gonna just jump right into this video because, let's be real, some people only watch the first 2 minutes of a video anyway, and you need to hear what I'm gonna say. 1, the Ouija board is not evil. And 2, Zozo the demon does not exist. Now that that's been said, you can either stick around and listen to some actual factual evidence to back up my claims, or you can go on with your day. I'm making this video because I'm so sick of hearing other creators in the paranormal community talking about the Ouija board and how evil it is and it only brings negative things, and talking about certain rules that you must never break while playing the Ouija board, otherwise this will happen to you. And you guys, it's bullshit, okay? Just like flat out bullshit. It's not true. And I'm going to tell you some facts about the Ouija board.
We have to play the game again. One last time.
So hopefully we will clear this up once and for all, and people can stop making videos about the Ouija board and how evil they are. I know they get you views for your channel, but you know, come up with some better content. So the Ouija board was actually created about 200 years ago, give or take some years, but it was during the 19th century when spiritualism was really popular. Unfortunately, during that time, there was a lot of death and people wanted to communicate with their loved ones that had passed away. During this time, mediums didn't really have a good tool to communicate with the dead, and the tools that they did have would take a lot of time. For example, they would call out to the dead saying, if your name begins with an A, give us a sign. If it starts with a B, give us a sign. And they would have to go through the entire alphabet waiting for a spirit to make some sort of sign to let them know that they were on the right track. So eventually, they came up with the method of the Ouija board where they put letters and numbers onto a sheet of paper so that they could communicate faster with loved ones that had passed away. It wasn't until 1891 that this tool that mediums were using was taken by a bunch of greedy men. They formed the Canard Novelty Company, and they wanted to sell this board to make money. So they took the idea of the board and they asked a medium called Helen Peters to help give it a name. So Helen Peters, being a medium, she took the board and she used it and asked the spirits what they wanted the name of the board to be. Well, it spelled out Ouija, or Ouija, however you want to pronounce it. But an interesting little fact here is that Helen Peters, at that time, the medium that came up with this name, her favorite author's pen name was Ouija. So, it's very close to Ouija. Just putting that out there. May not have even been the spirits telling her to use this name because it's very close to one of her favorite author's names. So the board got the name Ouija and it was mass produced and it was sold for many, many years and no negative stigma was attached to it. It was a tool used to communicate with loved ones that had passed away.
We invite you into our circle. If that's you, give us a sign.
And a side note, during all those years, there was never any rules to follow when you played it. I think the only rule that they originally put on the box was to play it with more than one person because it was a tool to bring people together. It wasn't something made out of fear. It was actually something to communicate with loved ones. So the Ouija board goes on for many, many years without any negative stigma attached to it. People use it all the time. Nothing bad happens. Until 1970s, The Exorcist comes out. In this movie, a girl gets possessed after playing with a Ouija board.
Here, I'll show you. Captain Howdy, do you think my mom's pretty?
By this sign of the Holy Cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
This was kind of like the turning point for Ouija boards, and ever since then, people have thought that they are evil because one movie put it out there in the universe that a demon possessed a girl after playing the Ouija board. Okay? So now let's make sure that it's really clear. The Ouija board is not evil. It is just a board. If you want to make a video saying it's dangerous to contact spirits, that's fine, because you know what? It can be dangerous to contact spirits. There's a quote from one of my favorite movies.
You have to be very careful. If you call out to one of the dead, all of them can hear you.
And it's very true, because if you call out to one spirit, you don't know which one's going to answer you. So the board itself isn't evil. It's not a portal. It doesn't attract demons. It doesn't attract ghosts. The only thing that attracts demons and ghosts is you. You calling on spirits and ghosts. That attracts them. The board does not attract them. The board is just an object. It's a tool to communicate. And I know people are going to say, well, I've had such bad experiences while using the Ouija board. Well, it's not because of the Ouija board. It's because you're messing with spirits and trying to contact the other side.
You ever feel like even after someone you love has died, there's still a way you can talk to them?
You want to talk to Debbie?
Yeah.
You could have been sitting there with the Monopoly board trying to contact Zozo the demon, and he might have showed up. But it's not the board, it's you. Speaking of Zozo the demon, he is not real either. Zozo never even appeared until 2009. In March of 2009, Darren Wayne Evans made this blog post on a website saying that he was using the Ouija board and was contacted by a demon named Zozo. Before that, there's no mention of Zozo ever as a demon. I take that back. There's one reference of Zozo the demon, and it is in, let's see, it is in a French book in 1863, and it's in French, but supposedly a girl said that she was being possessed by 3 demons, one of them being Zozo, but it turns out this girl was lying the entire time, so it's not even true. So there's one mention of Zozo ever before this guy. After this guy came out with his story about Zozo contacting him, he had a book deal, there was a movie made after it. I mean, he did it to get rich. Zozo the demon is like the Slender Man. They're not real. Zozo is the Slender Man of the Ouija board. It's something that one person created and then everybody thinks they experience it. Not to mention, this guy's story of Zozo has changed every single time he's talked about it. So this is very interesting. One of his reports to a newspaper was in 1982, he found this board, I think in his sister's closet or something like that. And on the board, on the front of it, he says, where it's supposed to say Ouija, it says Zozo. But in his book, that's not what he depicts. In his book, he has a picture of the board with the name Zozo across the back of it, not on the front like he said to this newspaper. In his book, he says it's on the back. So his credibility is not very good. Now people want to say, well, what about the YouTube video about the girl that's playing the Ouija board and then she gets possessed by Zozo? It's not real either. That video is owned by Starz Media. And guess what? Starz Media is linked to One World Media. And One World Media is the movie company that produced the movie I Am Zozo. So, it all goes full circle. I mean, it's all a myth and a lie, and I'm sick of other YouTubers perpetuating these myths and lies about the Ouija board. The Ouija board is just a tool to communicate with spirits. It itself is not evil, it's not bad. There are no rules that you have to follow while playing it. Zozo the demon does not exist. Can you have bad experiences while using the Ouija board? Yes, but it's not because of the board. It's because you're trying to contact spirits. You could be sitting with a piece of paper in front of you, and bad things can happen if you're trying to contact spirits. You could be playing Uno, And if you're trying to contact spirits, bad things can happen. It doesn't mean that your deck of Uno cards is a portal to hell, okay? As you can tell, I'm very sick of YouTubers making false videos about the Ouija board. I encourage YouTube creators to do actual research before making videos and perpetuating fear that doesn't need to exist. Like I said, if you want to create a video telling people not to contact spirits, fine, because you probably shouldn't. But the Ouija board is just a tool, so shut up about it. I hope you guys learned something from this video today. Hopefully you learned that the Ouija board is not evil. Zozo the demon does not exist. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.